Approaching Tabuk, the messenger of Allah, may God be pleased with him, said, "If Allah wills, tomorrow you will reach the spring of Tabuk, but you will not reach it until it is light. So whoever approaches this spring should not touch its water until I reach it." It is reported that Mu'adh, may God be pleased with him, said, "When we approached this spring, we found two people already there, and only a little water was flowing from it. The messenger of Allah, may God be pleased with him, asked them, 'Have you touched this water?' They said, 'Yes.' Then the messenger of Allah, may God be pleased with him, said to them what Allah pleased, and then scooped up some muddy water from the spring. The messenger of Allah, may God be pleased with him, then washed his face and hands with this water and poured it back into the spring, whereupon the water began to flow and the people were able to drink. The messenger of Allah, may God be pleased with him, then said, 'O Mu'adh, if you live long enough, you will see many gardens here.' The land in that area was barren and parched, but after a short time, gardens and abundant vegetation indeed appeared. Thus, by the will of Allah the Most High, the prophecy of the messenger of Allah, may God be pleased with him, was fulfilled. During the campaign to Tabuk, the people suffering from hunger turned to the Prophet, may God be pleased with him, saying, 'O messenger of Allah, if you would permit us to slaughter our camels, we could eat their meat and use their fat.' The messenger of Allah, may God be pleased with him, said, 'So do.' Then Umar approached him and said, 'O messenger of Allah, if you allow them to do this, we will have few mounts left. It would be better to order them to bring whatever provisions they still have, and then pray to Allah to make them a blessing for these people. Perhaps He will do so.' The messenger of Allah, may God be pleased with him, said, 'Good.' He ordered a leather mat to be brought for him and spread it out. Then he ordered the remainder of their provisions to be carried onto this mat. People began to approach, some with a handful of barley, some with a handful of dates, and some with a piece of bread. Eventually, a small amount of food accumulated on this mat, and then the messenger of Allah, may God be pleased with him, invoked blessings on it and said, 'Fill your vessels.' And the people began to put food into their vessels, which continued until every vessel in the camp was full, and everyone had eaten their fill, and there was still some left. The messenger of Allah, may God be pleased with him, said, 'I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and that I am the messenger of Allah, and whoever of Allah's servants meets him with these two testimonies and no doubt in their truth, paradise will not remain accessible to him.' Upon arriving, the messenger of Allah, may God be pleased with him, found no trace of the enemy army. The messenger of Allah, may God be pleased with him, remained in Tabuk for 20 days, but the enemy had no intention of fighting. The Byzantines preferred to flee as soon as they learned that Muhammad's army, may God be pleased with him, was approaching, a force that loves death more than life. The messenger of Allah, may God be pleased with him, consulted with his companions about whether they should advance further into the lands of Sham. Umar advised him to return to Medina. The messenger of Allah, may God be pleased with him, agreed with his decision, and the Muslims set out on their return journey, praising and thanking Allah. The Byzantines no longer seemed as serious an adversary to the Arabs as they had once been. They realized that they could be defeated. After the Muslims returned from Mu'tah, the Arabs returned to their belief in the invincibility of the Byzantines, and this had to be changed, which was accomplished during the campaign on Tabuk. Allah Almighty has always endowed the Islamic community with greatness and power, provided that Muslims demonstrated sincerity. In the campaign on Tabuk, the young Islamic State confronted unbelief in all its forms and incarnations, with all its material strength and might, and achieved victory over it. Allah the Most High said, "Allah will certainly help whoever helps Him. Indeed, Allah is the powerful, the mighty." Surah 22, Hajj, verse 40.